Yeah, it looks real good.
Start out with a brief opening statement from Coach Anderson. After that, raise your hand for questions. We'll get to you as soon as we can.
Uh, Number one, nice setup here. Looking forward to, as most coaches would say, it's that time of year when we have media today. That means our season is really, really close. And as a coach, I'm really looking forward to this year with so many new faces with our basketball team, newcomers. But I think one of the staples that I do have is having a guy like Daniel Gafford coming back. I thought that was huge for our basketball program, and I think it's a good place to start with him. But looking forward to another great year in the SEC. Great coaches. You can see the recruiting is picked up, and I think the momentum will continue. We had 8 teams in the NCAA tournament, and I think you'll see possibly 8 even more this year. And we hope to be one of those. I'll open it up for any questions. Bob, I come all the way to Birmingham, and Bob gets the first question. All right, Bob. Well, I thought we'd be last, to be honest with you, Bob. When you look at what we lost, we went from one of probably the older teams in terms of with seniors on your team, until now one of the younger teams. But at the same time, my mindset is we're going to put a team out there that's like everyone that comes up here is going to contend for a championship. Being young won't be an excuse, but we know along the way there are going to be some bumps along the way. When you talk about where it's somebody's opinion in terms of where we are being predicted at right now. I think if not correct, I was looking at a graphic. Tennessee was picked 13th last year. Did you pick them 13th? Yep, and they won the league. So that's my point there. With basketball, it's so totally different. It's the makeup of your team. Can you get them to play the way you want to play? Can you be effective in what you do? So this hopefully can be one of my better defensive teams. Offensively has been the way we've gone in the past years. We had some guys that can score, and then we had to adjust with our defense. But I think hopefully this year we can be a team that can really defend, get the floor open to our liking. We have open court players, and build a lot of things around Daniel Gafford. Yes. That sounds funny you even asked me that question, right? How do you go from a sophomore and now you're one of the leaders? And I don't have a senior on basketball team. And so with that being said, it does put Daniel in a position because he's one of the most experienced guys back along with Adriel Bailey. But I've seen a difference from him. He's much more outgoing. He's more talkative now. He's doing it by example as well. Every day in practice, he's really working extremely hard. He's improved from last year. He put on about 8 to 10 pounds. He had an opportunity to go this summer and at the Nike Academy, and came back. I got a lot of calls from a lot of people saying how well he played out there. So, and that's supposed to be some of the best in the country. So I think he's one of those guys. He want to continue to get better. And what better position to be in where now you're going to be considered not only one of the better players in the SEC, but in the country. And but I think he's got the right mindset thus far. I've never had a team. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Coach Richardson a couple of days ago. Said, "You ever had a team this way?" I said, "No." But at the same time, I like how they've come in and they've kind of take the ball and kind of went with it. They came in this summer, spent all summer there. We had 8 weeks we can work out with them 4 hours a week. And then of course you get into your fall camp, and we've had some guys that have come in banged up a little bit. They missed some time, but these guys are listening. Their eyes are open. They're listening. They're learning how to compete. And at this level, you got to learn how to compete. With young guys, someone asked me how practice have been going, and I think sometimes they can be hit or miss. You know, there's some practice where they're doing real well. Then there's some practice when you go like, didn't we just work on that like 3 practices ago? And so it's kind of like the hit and miss. But at the same time, I think we're starting to see, you know, certain guys be more consistent in practice. When you talk about these young guys, a guy, I'd say like Isaiah Joe, a young kid out of Fort Smith, really kid can shoot the basketball. Keyshawn Embry. You know, our guards are going to be important in what we do. If you look at the history of, you know, basketball, your guards have got to be really, really, really critical to what you do. We lost some all-conference guards in Barford, Macon, and even a guy like Anton Beard. And so now we're coming in with freshmen. You know, Dez Seals, we had a young guy to sit out last year by the name of Jalen Harris. And he's going to prove big in what we do. He's a pass guard first, can create. He had set out last year, so he had a chance to go against the likes of Macon and Barford to get a little season, so to speak. So, but as I stand here, we got more questions than we do answers. So hopefully, you know, the season are coming upon us so we can answer those questions.
Next is front row. You were in the mid-'80s and the mid-'90s. I think it was one of the golden era of SEC basketball. You were with Noah Richardson, won a national championship. Now, with the growth of this league in the last few years, does this league have the potential to be even deeper than it was in your mind?
Well, you know, I think it does. The league is, you know, when you talk about what took place last year, but you could see this coming. I think, again, when you think about, you know, what the SEC, the administration, and not only that, the universities in particular, I think they really paid attention to detail. They're bringing in great coaches. The recruiting is picking up. The momentum is continuing. We're getting teams in the tournament. And it's not necessarily just getting in the tournament. What you do when you get in the tournament. And so I think as we move forward this year, I think you're going to see even more teams in the tournament. And hopefully we can continue to imprint the NCAA tournament, making the case that we're one of the better leagues. But you go back to when Arkansas and South Carolina entered the league, obviously Kentucky was the cream of the crop. But I thought we came in and it kind of stepped everybody's game up. And, you know, within the first year, I think the second, third year, we had 2 teams in the Final Four. And so we could be on to some of that. And but I got to say that, you know, the emphasis on basketball and it's been big. And so hopefully the national pundits are taking notes that our league is really, really good. Just competitiveness, that's all. Just competitiveness, that's all. You know, that's the thing I'm really excited about, Bob, is the competitiveness in practice. And, you know, that's one of the things with a young team. They got to learn how to compete. And now they're competing. Every time they come to practice, they're auditioning in front of me, saying, Coach, I want those minutes. I want those minutes. We got an inter-squad game, I think this Friday. And, you know, in that game, everybody's going to play. But, guys, the next week we play an exhibition. Now, I can only play so many. So they're trying to vie for those minutes. And I think that creates, you know, an opportunity for your team to get better. And that's what I'm looking forward to this team doing. Each and every, you know, I don't have starters right now. You know, obviously the one that's probably I'm not the smartest guy in the world, I'm not the dumbest guy in the world, but I can pencil Daniel Gafford in there, I'm going to tell you that. And a guy like Adriel Bailey, but those guys got to work for it. They know they're going to have to work for it. But in terms of the other guys, I think they know if they bring it in practice and then have an opportunity to bring it in a game, then they'll have an opportunity to play. And this team here, I want it to be a balanced team. That, you know, you're going to have guys scoring 14, 12, 10 points. If you can get multiple guys doing that, then Daniel can't just be the target. And I think, you know, that's when our teams have been really, really well. They've been a very good team. Defensively, they get after it, but they share the ball on offense as well. Well, he's been pretty low key about it. I mean, if it's getting to him, he won't let on. Sometimes you can see the guys, in practice and frustration creeps on. He probably had one of his toughest days. I always try to put our guys in situations that they're gonna see in games. And so our guys, had a little scrimmage portion where guys were doubling up, tripling up, knocking them down, and he showed a little frustration. But for the most part, he's been pretty good. But I think he's evolved from the standpoint of knowing he's going to be the center of attention. And so he's got to be able to distribute. So you'll see him probably have more assists this year. He stepped out. He can knock down the 15-foot shot. He can put it on the floor, make nice passes. So, and he will continue to do what got him all the notoriety, and that is running the floor, offensive rebounds, running the break. He has a great pair of hands, and he's put on about, like I said, 8 to 10 pounds, I think. So he's got stronger. Going down the stretch last year, guys tried to really just kind of physically beat him up and push him around, and he didn't very, very well against that. So hopefully this year we'll see a kid that's going to have, not only one move, he's going to have some counter moves. You stop my left hand, I'm going to be able to spin right. Nice little pull-up. And one of the things I challenged him on getting better at the free throw line. He got fouled a lot last year. He lost a lot of points at the free throw line. So he's going to be the center of attention. You got to be able to knock free throws down. He works on his three-point shot. I'll leave it at that. He works on his three-point shot. You never know, Bob. I tell you, he has a nice touch for a guy his size. So we'll see. I may let him shoot a couple in the red-white game and see if he's capable of doing it. Yes.
LSU had pretty good success against you last year, especially the big ones. What did you see in them going from previous years to last year? What did you like about it?
Well, I thought, I thought the Waters kid, he presented some issues for us. But they had some guys that can shoot the basketball. I thought Epps was really big for them. And the Reef kid was a really good basketball player. And so they got some talented players on that basketball team. And for some reason, they got guys that can shoot the basketball. Will has done a really good job with that basketball team. And they've had a good recruiting class, so they'll be even better this year. And that's why I say our league is going to be outstanding. And not only that, when you have, we got a great non-conference schedule that's going to get us ready. We open up, against Texas, which will be a ranked team coming out of the gates. We got Indiana coming in there. So our league, we got to get tested, in non-conference. And, of course, as you alluded to, the LSU would be much improved. Mississippi State would be much improved. Auburn, Kentucky, you go down the line. All those guys that Bob picked in front of us. You go down the line, all those guys. It's going to be a hell of a league. We laid an egg. We laid an egg, that's all that was. One of those games. It's one of those games where you just burn the tape up.
Having a team with so many new faces, how much extra do you have to focus on building team chemistry, spending time with the guys who you are?
I do a lot. I mean, I do a lot. Do a lot of really, practices probably go a little longer. I normally don't like to go 2 hours, but I'm seeing they're going like 2 hours and a half. And the reason why, you got to stop and you got to explain. It's not just for one guy; it's for the whole team. And so it's interesting. I said there on the set. I said, it's like having a bunch of little piglets. And with that being said, little baby pigs, and here, over there. But you continue to feed them. They continue to grow. They continue to get better. All of a sudden, they become hogs, and some of them become true Razorbacks. And one thing we know about a Razorback, they'll bite you. So that's going to be our choice to get these guys to grow and to grow significantly throughout the year. We'll have our share of mistakes, without a doubt. Our guys, they're going to make mistakes. But as long as they're learning from it, they continue to work and try to improve each and every day. I think this will be the ultimate team. I think they're going to know they're going to have to rely on each other. So it's important for them to spend a lot of time and bond that brotherhood as we get ready to, we're in the war phase, and that is when you get this time of the year, the daps, giving guys dap and saying you're bad or next play and all that stuff, it changes now because you're playing someone other than yourself. No question. With him on the floor, we're going to be a much better basketball team, Daniel Gafford. And so it's, I think hopefully maturity, experience, knowing when to, when not to. A lot of his fouls were of the high school caliber, I thought. When guys come at him, he kind of turns sideways. So, but, year experience, he should be better for this year. And but at the same time, we got a full team. We got some guys there that are sitting there in the wings waiting to pick up the slack if he does get into foul trouble. We know he's going to be a target, but I think he'll be a lot smarter this year. He got better as the year went on. All right. Thank you, guys.